Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peter Watches TV, where I watch all the TV shows, and then I come over here, and I react to all of my TV shows that I'm currently watching. And currently, I am watching so many TV shows. I am currently watching, here's my weekly TV list that I keep on my phone. I'm currently watching The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Oh my God, did you guys see that premiere last week? That was how you do a Housewives premiere, okay? I finished up Real Housewives of Dubai. My husband and I, we watch all the Housewives together. Real Housewives of Orange County. Below Deck Mediterranean. This week is the finale. Sister Wives, which is what we're going to be talking about today. Welcome to Plathville. Big Brother. Only Murders in the Building. And last night, I started the season premiere of season 3 of the TV show From, which is so spooky scary. It is such a great show, and I love that show. And this weekend, I was very, very busy on top of all those shows. I watched the Lyle and Eric Menendez, Ryan Murphy show called Monsters on Netflix. I finished that, and I will probably do my reaction to that tomorrow over here. And then I also watched a true crime documentary called Little Miss Innocent that just came out on Hulu. So that was 4 parts, and I watched that this weekend as well. And then last night, I went in and I started watching, season 1 of The Worst Roommate Ever. Because I thought that I had already watched it, but going back, I don't really remember these episodes. I kind of remember the first one, but the second one I didn't remember at all, although I heard of that story before. So I'm going back in and I'm watching Worst Roommate Ever, but I need your help, okay? I need your help because now that I am completely caught up on Sister Wives, I need another show to binge watch. So I have to go back and I have to finish season 5 and season 6 of Below Deck Mediterranean. And so I have like half of season 5 and then all of season 6. So I'm going to go and watch that. I have 1 season of The Real Housewives of Miami, and then I'm caught up on all the shows I have to catch up on. But other than that, I need a new show to binge, and it needs to be something very scary, very spooky, because it's fall now. So I need something. I'm thinking about Ozark. I have never watched Ozark. My husband's watched it. All my friends have watched it. So I'm thinking about watching Ozark. My husband last night, I said, I don't know what to binge watch next. And he goes, you need to start Dexter, which I was like, so for those of you that do not know, I have a true crime book club that I run with my good friend Mel. Hey Mel, how are you? If you want to join the true crime book club, the link is listed below. But Mel loves the Dexter show, and she's been trying to get me to watch it for years. I've read the first 3 books in the series. But I said to my husband, I go, oh, Mel's going to love you for saying that. So maybe Dexter, but I think maybe Ozark. But if there's a new show out there or something that I haven't heard of, please let me know in the comment section below. But if you're new to Peter Watches TV, this is where I talk about all the TV shows. I watch the true crime. I have like 5 or 6 true crime documentaries that I am going to do reactions to over here. I watch all the trending shows on Netflix and Apple and Paramount and Peacock. I watch all the reality TV, and then I come over here and I talk about it. And then you guys talk about it in the comment sections. And so it's just a fun place to come and hang out and talk about TV shows. And if you like TV shows, then why not come over here, subscribe to my channel, and hang out? We can all talk about TV shows. Okay, so today, Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes-Benz? Said KODY Brown. Today we're going to talk about Sister Wives, Season 19, Episode 2, which I watched late last night. I had to bring my fan out. So for those of you that watch my drama commentary channel, I have several fans. I have like probably 30 or 40 of them. Today I was like, which fan should I bring out to talk about KODY Brown? So I brought my trash fan with me. And I do need to do some lip treatments because to get into this video talking about Miss KODY Brown, I know when I say that's going to piss off at least one person. When I talk about Miss KODY Brown today and her hairdo, I do need some lip treatments to talk about Miss KODY Brown. Okay, so I took notes, as I do. As I do. First of all, I just want to say, a year ago, when I was starting this channel, and I was asking for people, like, recommendations from people on what shows to watch, I got so many recommendations from people telling me they wanted me to watch Sister Wives. My cousin Caroline had already been begging me to watch Sister Wives. My best friend Tanya Jean had already been asking me to watch Sister Wives. And I was like, I have no interest in this show. Okay, well, I have completely fallen down the rabbit hole, obviously. I just binge-watched in 3 months, 18 seasons. I think we know that, right? So, I'm completely obsessed with it. But I just have to say, I really appreciate all the love over here on my Sister Wives videos. You guys seem rather interested in them, and I just want to say I really, really appreciate it. My videos on Sister Wives will probably be more reactions to the episodes instead of deep dives into like what's on social media and things like that. Now, I have been keeping up with what's going on with them now because the show, like the episodes that we're watching now were filmed 2 years ago. So, 2.5 years ago. I think it started at the end of 2022. So, yeah, so it's like been almost 2 years when they started filming season 19. So a lot has happened in the real world since they started filming this show. And so I have kept up with it on social media. I have, looked at all of the wives and all that kind of stuff online to see what's going on, all the kids. So I do know a lot of what's going on. So nothing that you say in the comment section will ruin it for me. I just want you to know that I know everything that's going on. And I'll try to weave some of that through here, but I'm not going to be like a drama commentary channel talking about like the news that's coming out about Sister Wives. I simply want to do reactions to watching the episodes. And part of what's so funny is so much has happened. When you watch other reality shows like Vanderpump Rules is a good example of this. They are really, I think they're under contract that they can't say a lot about things, once if they're filming the show. Like, if somebody breaks up, they're not really allowed to say a lot about that until, the show is wrapped. And it's interesting to me, for example, Christine, when you're watching season 19, she's talking about how much she loves being single and she's dating and stuff like that. And I'm like, sister, we just watched 2 episodes of your wedding on season 18, the ending of it. Which, in all honesty, I'm not really sure. I have a feeling they thought that it wasn't going to get renewed because there was a lot of questions on whether or not, because the wives were leaving, whether or not there was even going to be a season 19 of Sister Wives. I think the reason why they included Christine's wedding and didn't save it till the end of this season is because they didn't really think that Sister Wives was going to be renewed. But that's just my guess. There's probably all kinds of theories and stuff out there about that. But it's so weird knowing that she's already married to this guy and we just watched 2. I watched both episodes of the wedding. It was at the end of season 18. And it's so weird knowing that. And then Christine's talking about how, she's doing this and she's doing that. It's weird watching Janelle. I mean, the way that they film this is so bizarre to me. It's like I've never seen a reality show like this before. I watched 1,000 Pound Sisters. I've talked to Amy Slayton. Amy Slayton has let me know kind of the filming schedule. It's when they stop and they pick up 3 months later and things like that. Sister Wives is so bizarre. And I've talked to other people that are on reality shows and how they stop it and when they start it and stuff like that. And there's usually a hiatus in between there to give those people a break so they can do other things, but also because they have to put production together and things like that. What's interesting to me about Sister Wives is that they stop it and then they literally pick up a week or 2 later filming. And then 2 months later is when they do the reunion. So the reunion is talking about things that happened 2 years ago because they're filming the next season already. And that's kind of, in all honesty, there's a few reality shows that do that, but that's kind of unheard of. I mean, this has been for 15 years. This has been a money-making machine. What's interesting to me about this is I don't know and I can't see how this show is going to survive, I'm going to talk about this a little bit today, but we're watching season 2 and Janelle is talking about selling KODY Pass to, KODY and moving with Maddie to Montana and things like that. Well, we already know that she bought a house and I think she's living in North Carolina or South Carolina now. So we already know that, right? That Janelle bought this house. She bought a $300,000 house and she's living close to Maddie. We already know all that's going on with that. Christine is suing Kody Brown for custody of Truly and child support. We know that in real time. So to watch this show, I think this is part of what's killing the show, is it's so boring to watch because you already know what's happening in real time, right? And this is where it's I think at first it worked because it got people really interested to follow them online and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's it's kind of ruining the show because when you know everything, it's so boring to watch because it's it happened 2 years ago. It's who cares about this now? But let's get into season 19, episode 2. I have all of my notes right here, very lengthy notes. So it starts off with Isabel moving to Salt Lake City and Christine's so excited because now they're all together in Salt Lake City and they have this big dinner and everything like that. And during that dinner is when Peyton comes and Peyton says that he got a new job and he is now, this is where I say the first commandment of these Christian families should be that thou shalt not be on reality TV. But I did kind of love this in all honesty, that Peyton comes there and he tells Christine and his family that he got a job as a bouncer at a strip club. And I was I don't know why, but I kind of live for this a little bit. And I have to be honest with you, what I really lived for was that Christine was completely unfazed. Now, what's interesting about this is Christina's completely left the religion, I believe, okay? KODY Brown has pretty much really left the religion. Janelle and Mary are the ones that are still in the religion. Mary is petitioning for a divorce. I think that's already happened in real time, but on the show, she's petitioning for a divorce from the church, from KODY Brown. KODY's like, I'm not doing all that BS and playing into it, because he doesn't really care about the religion anymore, because all he really cares about is Robyn Brown, okay? Who looks sadly at best in this. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but Robyn Brown does not look, I mean, she just looks worn out and sad on this season. Like, I just think that the reality of everything that she's been in delusion about for the last 18 seasons has finally hit her. I mean, she's still talking about Mary and Janelle building on Coyote Pass. I'm like, girl, ain't nobody building on Coyote Pass, okay? Nobody's building on Coyote Pass. They might put an apartment complex out there in a couple years, but ain't nobody building on Coyote Pass, Robyn Brown. Okay? Nobody is. And you know, speaking of Robyn Brown, it's interesting to me, this whole thing that comes out, and it came out in this episode, it's come out in the last couple episodes, of how mean the other sister wives, that Robyn and her two daughters are saying that they never, well, Dayton, I don't know if he said it, but they were very, very inclusive of Dayton, okay, in the early episodes. And binge watching it in 3 months is interesting to me. So, like, in this episode, they say it again, but in the last episodes, they've said it too, that Robyn and her two daughters, Brianna and Aurora, or whatever her name is, anyway, they said that nobody ever included them in the family. And I'm like, what? I remember Mary taking a road trip and bringing Brianna with her. I remember them being over at Mary's house all the time. I remember them being at Christine's house all the time. I remember that Truly hanging out with those kids. That Truly was devastated when Christine moved and wanted to be with her siblings. I remember all of them. McKelty moved in. I think it was McKelty that moved in with Robyn. And so now that they're playing this to me after the fact, it's such bullshit if you want to know the truth, okay? They totally, and this is the thing that kills me about this, right? Is that they so welcomed, I mean, there was an entire episode that was all about KODY adopting these kids, and then them having to have a huge family meeting explaining what that was going to be. And they were all crying and clapping for the kids to be adopted. There was a whole thing that was done about it. They had Robyn made this picture up, and where she superimposed KODY Brown's picture. I mean, it's like how they like to rewrite history. It's killing to me. And I just literally watched this in 3 months, so I remember it like it was yesterday, because it really was kind of yesterday for me, right? But now, it's like, so everything on the show is either fake, and now you're saying that what happened on the show wasn't real. So what you're saying is 18 seasons of fakery that got us all caught up in this. Why should we continue to watch you? Okay? Because it's your paycheck? Is that it? Because Sister Wives Closet ain't doing so hot these days? So anyway, I don't know, like, what this whole, these allegations of that nobody in the family ever welcomed Robyn and her kids in, but I feel like she was very welcomed in. In fact, I feel like most of the wives were nicer to Robyn Brown than they were to each other. That's just the truth. Especially Mary. Mary was nicer to Robyn and closer to Robyn until Christine and Robyn got close. Then Mary didn't trust Robyn anymore. And then Mary pulled away. And then Robyn and Christine were close. Robyn and Janelle were really never close. But Janelle was really never that close with anybody except for Christine towards the end. So it's interesting to me how they rewrite history, and these girls were like, no, they were never really nice to us. I was like, what are you talking about? The entire family has focused around Robyn and her kids for the last 14 seasons. It's just the reality. So anyway, they have this family dinner, and Christine's all happy and all this kind of stuff because she's single and she's dating. Even though we know she's married, right? She says, oh no, I just want to be single forever. 10 months later, she's married. Okay. So then Janelle is talking about how she and KODY, this sit-down conversation she has with Christine, that that's Lisa Hochstein's boyfriend, almost fiance. Is it her fiance now? I don't think it is. Lisa Hochstein from Miami. Jody. Anyway, Janelle and KODY are not in communication, and the relationship is over, but they still both live in Flagstaff, is what she tells Christine. Okay? And that KODY won't pay the note on the property, and the property is collateral. So, okay, this is what this means for any of you out there that are dumb like me, that I had to, like, sit there and think about it for a second. So, they bought this land, okay? They put so much money down on it, but they didn't have any other collateral like houses or cars or bank accounts or anything like that because they literally live paycheck to paycheck, which I don't believe, by the way. And so, instead of putting up Sister Wives Closet for collateral, because it's not worth anything, okay? And Mary's making $1 million off of LuLaRoe. We know that. She's still selling that shit, those moldy-ass tights, okay, from LuLaRoe. And yes, I did watch the documentary, and I know that that's a scam, allegedly, okay? But Mary's still selling that LuLaRoe shit. okay? Because somebody just sent me a picture the other day about how she was at a LuLaRoe retreat. And you know who she was there with? She was there with Mindy. Do you remember Mindy, the nanny? That was Robyn's step-niece. She's front and center with Mindy, okay? So Mindy must be making $1 million off that LuLaRoe stuff too, but Mindy doesn't even have a social media presence, so how is she selling them Halloween tights? I am so confused, okay? So anyway, that Mindy, she so much wanted her own spinoff reality show called Sister Wife Step Niece. They should have given Mindy, she'd all just stand in the background. It took me like 8 seasons, and finally I texted my friend Nikki. I was like, who is that girl that is always behind the scenes? And every one of the Sister Wives episodes, she's like, who are you talking about? I was like, the girl that wears a lot of makeup, and she's always behind in the kitchen, standing there. She's like, I don't know who you're talking about. So finally I look it up, and I'm like, oh, it's Mindy. It's Robyn's step-niece, half kind of nanny, but not the nanny that got sick with her husband, okay? What does the nanny do? Not her. But anyway, so basically, the land that they bought, or the money they put down, is collateral for the rest of the land. So if they don't pay the note on the land, they lose all their money that they have in the land, okay? I thought that Janelle and KODY had sold the property. Has that happened? I looked online last night. I couldn't really find anything about it. But anyway, somebody let me know in the comment section below. But KODY's like, he won't pay the note on the property. And Janelle's like asking all these questions about it because it's all the money that she has in the entire world. And he says he won't tell her because he doesn't trust her. And she's all about gossip. It's all about gossip. Here's KODY Brown this season, okay? KODY Brown is saying that all the wives gossip about him. The only reason the kids want to talk to him is because they're trying to get gossip from him. And that he feels betrayed and that these 3 wives are leaving him to punish him. But the question would be, if they're leaving you to punish you, why are they punishing you? Punishing you over what? Punishing you over the fact that you picked Robyn? Okay, well, that makes sense. And you're supposedly a polygamist. Punishing you over the fact of the rules during the lockdown. Punishing you over that you don't treat your kids fairly. What are they punishing you over, KODY? You keep on saying the wives are punishing you. Punishing you over what? Because you say you didn't pick Robyn, except for that she's the most loyal. He said it again in last night's episode. I was like, oh my God, if I could pull out my hair right now, I would. If you call that woman loyal one time, you mean she's submissive to your patriarchy is what you mean, right? Loyalty to KODY Brown means submissive. And we need to make that very, very clear that we understand that. That loyalty to KODY Brown is submissive. Robyn Brown is not loyal. She is submissive. She does anything that man tells her to do, okay? And then she bosses the other wives around. And they just had enough of it. So it's not that they were punishing him. It's like they said, free at last. Let me out of this place, okay? And more power to him. So Robyn says that her and KODY's money has always been separate. I think this is kind of interesting, the way that she says this, okay? That their money has always been separate. Because when you watch KODY Brown doesn't speak that way. KODY Brown says their house, their land. He says things as if they are joint ventures together. Robyn makes such a point of always saying that they're separate, that she enjoyed the time that he was away. She's like, I enjoyed the time that he was away from my house just as much as I enjoyed the time that he was at our house. And I'm thinking to myself, sweetheart, in the last 5 years, when has KODY Brown not been staying at your house, okay? Because I watched all those seasons. Mary didn't want him to stay there. He didn't want to stay with Mary. He said in this episode again, he was just trying to get rid of Mary. She wasn't getting the hint, okay? That he's been basically divorced from her for years. He didn't want to be at Janelle's house, and she didn't want him there, and Christine kicked him out. And he didn't want to be in an intimate relationship with Christine. The only person's house he was staying at, Robyn's, was yours. So when were you alone to know what that was like, Robyn? You weren't. Unless KODY was telling you that he was staying with the other wives and he was staying with his side piece. I would love for a side piece to come out and talk about Miss KODY Brown. I would. Oh my God, I would love a good scandal like that, okay? If somebody came out of the woodwork and said, oh, I'm the fifth wife of KODY Brown and not his hairdo, and he moved all them wives to Flagstaff because he was having an affair with me. Can you even imagine? Oh my God, that would be crazy, wouldn't it? That would revamp that show. KODY, you need to find somebody like that because this show, it's in the shitter is what it is, okay? This show is done after this season. Every wife's living somewhere different. I mean, Mary was in 2 seconds of this last night's episode. The only reason that Christine and Janelle were so much because they were on a couch talking to each other. Robyn's in 5 minutes of it because they interview her from her house. They're none of them collectively together. Really, the whole entire episode was Janelle and Maddie driving in a truck down the road to go look at the land in Montana, and Janelle and Christine sitting on a couch talking to each other, and Christine having the family over for dinner. And each of those scenes probably took a half an hour to film. So this show is not going to last. It just is not going to continue to. There's no way. There's no way that it's going to continue to last. And the other thing is that, and somebody pointed this out on one of my last videos, and it was so accurate, and I had already thought this, but because I cover drama commentary on my drama channel, without these social media presences, they have no selling power. So most of these women are doing sponsorships. Mary's selling LuLaRoe. If Mary's not a sister wife online and people aren't following her because of the show, she ain't gonna be able to sell them leggings anymore. Ain't nobody gonna want those pumpkin leggings for Halloween with mold on them, allegedly. Oh, you know that don't save you from anything, right? So then they had this whole conversation about Maddie and Caleb. I thought he loved Caleb. I thought he was so into Caleb. But anyway, KODY doesn't see Maddie or Caleb anymore or their kids. He doesn't call them. This is what Janelle said. He doesn't call them. And he says that Maddie cut off ties with him because every time she called him, she was trying to fish for gossip for her mom. What gossip, girl? You're the only one that doesn't know what's going on, KODY Brown. You're the only one that doesn't know what's going on. Even the producers know what's going on, okay? Then Janelle is fighting for money, and so this is where I'm at. I'm watching halfway through the show. I'm like, okay. So Janelle is trying to fight for money for this property. She's living in North Carolina. She done bought her a $300,000 agricultural house, whatever that means. Greenhouse on there or something. Christina's fighting for custody and child support, and Mary wants a religious divorce, but he doesn't want any part of this BS. And this show is going to survive, and I'm like, what is going on here? And then Robyn is going to be at McKelty's birth, but really, Christine doesn't want her there. Robyn doesn't really want to be there. And then McKelty's the only one that wants to be there because Robyn and McKelty have this huge bond, but apparently they don't have this bond anymore because that done fell apart. Okay, but that's going to come out later in the season. And then, okay, that's when Peyton tells him that he's a bouncer at a strip club. I kind of lived for that moment. And then Janelle says, at this point, when she's talking about the land with Christine, she says that she thinks she's going to have to lawyer up because she ain't got there's no legal marriage. And this is the thing that happened at the end of season 18 that I thought was such an interesting conversation, was that Christine kind of talks about this with Janelle, that if Mary, Janelle, and Christine were all legally married to KODY and they had legal divorces, they want to fight for this legality of I mean, that's what they've talked about for the last 18 seasons, that if they were all legally married to KODY Brown, I mean, he so believes, in polygamy, that if they were all legally married to him, when each of them got divorced, if they got divorced legally from KODY Brown, they would each take a fourth of what he was worth. I mean, he would be worth literally nothing right now. He would be forced to sell them that land on that property, or they would have to sell it and split the proceeds. And I don't even really know how much money is in. I was looking up that stuff last night, how much money they really have in Coyote Pass out there and all this kind of stuff now. So, anyway, I'm looking at all this kind of stuff, and then he goes in here, and okay, so wait. This is where Janelle says she's gonna have to lawyer up. I'm like, girl, I cannot wait for that episode. Janelle Brown's lawyering up. Then KODY says that Janelle never communicated to him about the end of the marriage, because Christine's like, are you divorced from KODY? Is the marriage over? And she's like, what? And then Janelle in the confessional is like, I feel like I'm being questioned as a witness or something like that. I'm like, well, she's your sister wife. She wants to know. Then Christine says that Janelle can't leave because of ties to land and religion. And I'm like, I feel like we are in 1840s again. This is like Little House on the Prairie or something like this. Okay, this is so weird to me. But KODY says that Janelle never communicated to him about the end of the marriage. But they haven't talked, literally in a year. They haven't talked. Hardly even in text messages. But then Mary says that he's a hypocrite because he did the exact same thing to her, which is true. He never told Mary that he didn't want to be with her anymore. But get this shit, okay? So Mary wants a divorce and a release in the church, okay? That's what it's called in this church that they're in, okay? Is a release, not a divorce. But you need but he won't give it to her because he's like, he said he will, but he's like, this BS is whatever. He's like, it's been over for years with Mary, but you never let her know that, KODY. You never said that. And in fact, he turns around in the show when he says it's been over for years with Mary, and he says, he goes in there and he talks about how a man in their religion is not allowed to ask for a divorce. But at the same time, he says in there, but he didn't want out. Every time he would get with Mary, he would try to work it out, but he was just bored. And I'm like, I am so confused. Either you wanted out or you didn't. And now Mary's trying to get this release. And I'm like, girl, I understand that you want a release from KODY Brown, but you also need a release from LuLaRoe because that shit stinks of mold. I'm just telling you, girl, you need to watch the documentary, okay? I don't watch that LuLaRoe documentary, okay? Listen, Mary, don't be selling that shit. I know you made $1 million off it, but listen. So then he goes on, all 3 wives ask him to leave the home, he says in there, okay? He's like, I would never have left. And I'm like, he said he would never leave no matter how much they wanted him to be gone. And he always is talking about how Robyn Brown is his loyal wife. And the one thing he says that she brought to the family was loyalty. I'm like, no, you mean the one thing she brought to the family was submission, okay? That woman is a literal doormat, seriously, okay? And she is worn out. You can see this season. She is worn out. You know why? You know why? Because she is the only wife that's having to take the shit of KODY Brown. Those other 3 wives, they're like, what? I mean, they are so happy and peaceful. Christine, Janelle, and Mary, I have never seen them be so peaceful, okay? And Robyn Brown looks worn out. You know why? Because she's the only one dealing with KODY Brown. And she's going to figure it out soon enough. Then she's going to leave him. Then he ain't going to have a TV show. And it's going to be called KODY on his own. And they ain't going to be able to blame nobody anymore. Okay? Then Janelle goes on and talks about how she don't like the word divorce. Well, girl, that's what you're in, okay? I don't know what to tell you, okay? But she don't like the word divorce. And she just tells people that I'm not together with the father of my children anymore. Well, I guess you weren't really ever married, so it doesn't really matter, I guess. But to you, you were married. You said it was a spiritual, eternal marriage, okay? It's so weird to me when I watch these shows. And, like, people will be like, well, they were in a spiritual eternal bond and they really believe this, and then all of a sudden they're just done with it. Like, they don't even discuss, the show is literally about polygamy. KODY Brown, there is not an entire episode dedicated to KODY Brown talking about leaving the religion or Christine talking about leaving the religion. They just say they're not part of the religion anymore. Don't you think that's kind of an important part to talk about in a show about polygamy? I mean, I think it is, that why they decide to leave the church and they no longer follow the standards of the church anymore. I mean, to me, that seems like it's kind of important, don't you think? So anyway, then this is what Janelle goes into. She don't like the word divorce, and KODY says she don't like the word divorce because she keeps on wanting to sweep it underneath the rug. This is where sobbing Robyn and her kids. Her kids. I mean, she has trained those kids so well to say the same things that she says on the show. It makes me kind of sad for them, a little bit, to be honest with you. Beautiful kids, but it makes me sad. They just seem like they're just like, oh, the whole family was so mean to us. I'm like, y'all are in a cult, okay? You're literally in a cult and you're brainwashed and listening to what everybody else is saying to you. Janelle then says that she would do plural marriage again for the independents. And I'm like, this is where I'm like, girl, seriously, for the independents. I got some independence for you. Why don't you try to be single, girl? Okay? All the single ladies. Why don't you be single if you like independence so well? Okay? Why is it that your go-to is you would do plural marriage again, okay? The same women that said they didn't want to do marriage with KODY anymore. They couldn't do marriage with, it was so weird to me when they said that. And Christine looks at her like she's crazy. You know why? You know why? Because we already know that Christine's married and she's in a monogamous relationship, okay? And Janelle's like, well, I do a polygamous relationship again for the independent. So, okay, girl, you're my age. So at 50 years old, you're going to marry a polygamist, be the 14th wife for independence? Girl, that don't even make no sense. Just stay single. You got a hit fucking TV show, okay? You got a social media presence. You can sell any kind of shit you want with sponsorships. Just make sure you disclose. Why don't you just live single, okay? I don't think you ever wanted to be married anyway. You just wanted a plot of land to get your hands in and dig up. And I live for that. She wanted to have a garden, okay? Well, now you got a garden and you got a house and you get to live near your kids. You don't have to deal with KODY Brown anymore. Girl, do not get in another plural marriage, okay? Do not. Anyway, that's what I thought about this week's episode. Let me know what you thought in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.